Hey everyone, welcome back to Inside the Cage. Dana White declares UFC 298 to shake the cage. Do you remember Volkanovski's promise after his loss to Makhachev last month? Well, he wasn't kidding, my friend. UFC CEO Dana White just spilled the beans. Volkanovski's jumping back into the ring to defend his featherweight title against Ilia Topuria at UFC 298 on February 17th at the Honda Center in Anaheim, California. Just recently, he announced two changes in upcoming fights. On December 2nd in Austin, Texas, Dan Hooker is out from the showdown. Unfortunately, he had a broken arm again from his last fight. So now Bobby Green, ranked 13, will face Jalen Turner, ranked 12, in the co-main event, shortened to 3 rounds. On December 9th at the Apex in Las Vegas, there's a fight between Sona Dong, ranked 7, and Chris Gutierrez, ranked 14. Also, on February 17th, Volkanovski vs. Topuria will take place at UFC 298 at the Honda Center in Anaheim. One thing is for sure, this fight is shaping up to be the biggest one in Volkanovski's career. Talk about a quick turnaround. Francis's secret plan for UFC Supremacy. According to World Boxing News, Francis might just collect a shot at the undisputed heavyweight title in a rematch with Tyson Fury. On the other side of the coin, the resources also confirmed if the rematch with Fury from their clash in October happens, there's at least one title on the line. However, promoter Frank Warren is throwing in the idea that Francis could be up next inside the octagon. In his discussion, he is expressing optimism about the possibility of a rematch between Tyson Fury and Francis. Then, during an interview with the MMA Hour, Warren states that he sees a good chance of the rematch happening, but emphasizes the need to focus on the upcoming significant bout with Alexander Usyk first. Additionally, Warren mentions that both Fury and Francis are interested in the rematch, and he recalls a positive meeting with Francis after the fight. Despite not specifying when the rematch might take place, Warren conveys confidence and hints that it could happen after dealing with the immediate challenges.
I think there's a good chance of that happening. I do. Tyson told me that he wants the rematch, and I know Ngannou wants it. I mean, because when we was after the fight, we were out there, we met at His Excellency's house and we had quite a lengthy conversation. He's a nice guy, by the way. He's a really nice guy, good team around him, and I'm quite sure we'll do it again.
Moreover, starting with the IBF, those belts are breaking up quickly, especially if Fury comes out on top. And yes, Fury and the IBF have some history. They weren't on the best terms after they stripped him following the Wladimir Klitschko fight. Even though Fury had no plans to defend those titles, losing that red belt didn't sit well with the Gypsy King. Now, Fury's made it clear he wants nothing to do with the IBF, so if he becomes undisputed, he's not keeping that strap. In his own words, he's gonna bin it. So Francis might have to wait a bit longer for a shot at the big title. Islam Makhachev's visionary plan for 2024. There is another great news on the horizon. Islam Makhachev is gearing up for an action-packed 2024, and he's eyeing a fight early in the year before Ramadan. See, this is a treat for fighters who are itching to take on the UFC lightweight champion. Initially, there were some question marks around whether Makhachev could throw down before Ramadan, which runs from March 10th to April 9th, 2024. But fear not, because Makhachev spilled the beans on a Russian news program. Interestingly, he laying out his seriously active plan for the upcoming year. Also, Islam Makhachev shared his plans for the upcoming year, and he informed the UFC about his readiness to step into the octagon before the start of Ramadan, indicating a desire to have enough time for 3 fights in 2024. Certainly, Makhachev emphasized his commitment to maintaining constant training, staying in shape, and eagerly anticipating a call from the UFC management for upcoming fight opportunities. In essence, he's laying out a proactive approach to his fight schedule, aiming for a busy and productive year in the UFC.
Примерно планирую подраться до Рамадана. Уже сообщил UFC, что я готов драться до Рамадана. Хотел бы успеть сделать 3 поединка в 2024 году. Буду тренироваться по мере возможности, постоянно держать себя в форме и ждать звонка от руководства.
After taking Alexander Volkanovski down under at the beginning of 2023, he was all pumped up for a summer fight. But you know how it goes. The UFC was giving him some relaxation mode and made him wait for Abu Dhabi in October. Now, that unnecessary weight didn't exactly sit well with Makhachev. Here, all the fight fans are crossing their fingers that he's a bit more assertive this time around, digging the UFC a bit to get back in the ring. Because let's be real, he and the fans, it and nobody wants more sideline action. It's time to get that man back in the spotlight. UFC star opens up on violent protests. Conor McGregor isn't holding back after a pretty messed up incident in Dublin city centre. 3 little kids, aged between 5 and 6, and a woman in her 30s ended up in the hospital after a violent attack near a school. You know, McGregor didn't shy away from sharing his thoughts, and man, he's not happy. Lately, he's using his platform to express his dismay and is calling for some serious action. Incredibly, McGregor's not pulling punches, especially when it comes to Garda Commissioner Drew Harris. The commissioner labeled the attackers as a hooligan faction driven by far-right ideology, and McGregor directed some serious criticism his way. It's a no-nonsense stance from the notorious one. In his statement, he expressed his dissatisfaction with the response from the chief of police, Drew Harris. Particularly, he is calling for proactive measures to ensure the safety of the community. Innocent children ruthlessly stabbed by a mentally deranged non-national in Dublin, Ireland today, McGregor shared. He expressed dissatisfaction with the response from the chief of police, stating, "Drew not good enough." McGregor highlighted what he sees as a grave danger within Ireland that should never have been present and criticized the lack of action taken to address such alarming incidents. He urged for change, emphasizing, "Ireland for the victory. God bless those attacked today, we pray." So, the Irish police haven't spilled the beans on the nationality of the person involved, but Conor McGregor is still airing his thoughts on Twitter. He straight up says, "You reap what you sow." At this point, he is seriously concerned about the victims. And he's not holding back, wondering why there's no info on how they're doing and calling the scenes absolutely horrific. All in all, McGregor's not just expressing, he's pushing for action and reform. He's laying it out there that with these incidents happening more often, you can't just sit back and hope it all sorts itself out. His tweets are like a rallying cry for change and urgency. McGregor's all about taking real steps to make sure the public stays safe. He's not just talking the talk, he's pushing for some walk to go along with it. O'Malley breaks silence on Snoop's spell. Sean O'Malley is spitting some facts on how Snoop Dogg him into UFC glam. Back when he was making his entrance into the big leagues at DWCS, he had none other than Snoop Dogg and Urijah Faber as commentators. In a chat on The Breakfast Club, O'Malley took a trip down memory lane, talking about the massive role Snoop Dogg played in his rise. Also, Sean O'Malley emphasized the significant impact of Snoop Dogg's commentary on his career, describing it as huge and massive. He reflected on the essential moment during his appearance on the Contender series when he was just 21 or 22 years old. This event marked the beginning of an extraordinary journey in his career. However, O'Malley highlighted the unique nature of the occasion, mentioning that it was the first time they had commentators like Snoop Dogg in that setting. After knocking out his opponent, Snoop Dogg's excited repetition of O'Malley about 30 times made the moment especially memorable and, in O'Malley's words, crazy. Essentially, Snoop Dogg's commentary became a standout element that contributed significantly to O'Malley's recognition and the subsequent craziness in his career trajectory.
Oh, huge.
From that night.
Massive.
And boosting your career.
Massive, massive. It's crazy how my career's played out, and that was like the beginning of the craziness. Like Snoop Dogg's commentating on a fight when I'm 21, 22 years old in the Contender series, the first time they've done it, and you know, I knocked that dude out, and he yells O'Malley about 30 times, and that was crazy.
After his win on DWCS, Sean O'Malley recounted an experience where he smoked with Snoop Dogg. Simply, O'Malley admitted that he couldn't recall the specifics of their conversation, but described the overall experience as crazy. Now, are you guys pumped for Sean O'Malley versus Marlon Vera 2? Snoop Dogg played a massive role in Suga's success. Who knows, maybe he'll be there to cheer him on at UFC 299. It could be a wild one, for sure. All right, guys, that's all for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. See you at the next one. Until then, goodbye.